For the last 10 years, Kenya Commercial Bank KCB colours have flown proud and high at the pinnacle of Kenya motorsport. The bank has been instrumental in the resuscitation of rallying in the country since coming on board in 2005. This year's KCB M-Banki Guru Nanak Rally will be a record 83rd rally that the bank has sponsored and the 10th time specifically for the Guru Nanak Rally. Named after the founder of the Sikh religion, the Guru Nanak Rally has been part of the full Kenya National Rally Championship. The Simba Union, one of the oldest and most influential clubs in Kenya's motorsport, hosted the last round of the 2014 KCB-sponsored Kenya National Rally Championship Series. And for the first time in its history, the traditional scrutineering, start, finish, and the prize-giving ceremony was moved to a new location in Naivasha, 80 kilometers west of Nairobi.
This is not the first time that we've actually rallied out of Nairobi. We've done Naivasha before, but we've always had the finish at Simba Union Club, which we've opted not to do this year because primarily the transport liaison is about 80 kilometers and we don't prefer to have rally cars going down that road, the public road, back to Simba Union for the finish. So we tried to try a new system where we did everything on site and it turned out really well. A bit hesitant, all the committee members of Sikh Union, but being my first event, I guess they agreed to allow me to try something different and hopefully it should work.
So our strategy is to be steady and we are not competing of course for championship. We are happy, God willing, we are going to finish among the top 10. We are lying 6th at the moment, and that is good for us.
Nine competitive stages awaited the 50 starters, and a number of championship titles were up for grabs. The highlight being the two title contenders, Baldev Chaga and Carl Tundo, who would leave Naivasha either on top of the Kenya National Rally Championship or would be facing one extreme of emotion or another. One thing about the championship is that it's unpredictable. The tooth and nail fight between the two drivers came down to this grand finale title deciding KCB M-Banki Guru Nanak Rally. The rally was flagged off by the Governor of Nakuru County, His Excellency Kinuthia Mbogwa, and the 344-kilometer race began with a short sprint in the Manera farm, which also hosts the spectator stage, just behind the Delamere fuel station on the Nairobi-Nakuru highway. The Proton Satria S2000 of Carl Tundo struck the first blow as it emerged out of the 10-kilometer vegetable plantation stage with a fastest time of 7 minutes 8 seconds. Baldev Chaga was happy to keep Tundo in his sight in the soft and rutted stage with the second fastest time and 9 seconds slower. He was sandwiched between another Proton, that of Alastair Kavanagh, who was just 1 second behind. Both the Malaysian cars arrived in Naivasha with brand new engines after Tundo blew his a few days before the rally while testing, and Kavanagh destroyed his during this year's KCB Safari Rally. Kisumu's Jasprit Chate and Onkar Rai were tied for 4th place on 7 minutes 20 seconds, both driving Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 10s and both with foreign navigators. Zambia's double African Rally co-driver champion David Shioka set alongside Chate on his 6th rally this season, while Zimbabwe's Gareth Dawe made his debut on Kenya's soil alongside Onkar. Ian Duncan, the 11 times winner, struggled out of the stage in his Nissan hardbody pickup in 7th place, unaware at the time that his main threat was going to be the driver ahead of him. The 24-year-old Rajbir Rai beat the legend by a massive 14 seconds to hold 6th place. Uganda's Jas Mangat on his second rally in the country was 8th fastest in one of the 5 powerful Mitsubishi Evo 10 models. The oldest driver in the rally, and also driving now an outdated Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 8, Azar Anwar, was tied for 10th with the latest Subaru GVB of Manveer Barian. In the Group S class, the shining light of the rally and the season was the excellence of Karan Patel. The 23-year-old was lying 16th overall and first in his class. His rival in the championship, Alasdair Keith, was third in 22nd position behind the ex-Azar Anwar Mitsubishi Lancer of Hussein Malik. The two-wheel drive championship leader, Leonardo Varese, was lying in 43rd position and 6th in class, which was being led by the Daewoo Cielo of the former two-time two-wheel drive champion, Charan Thethi. The classic car class was being led by Rob Hellier, the winner of the Guru Nanak Rally in 1996. His Datsun 160J was being pushed by the 4 Ford Escorts driven by Rajesh Semi, Hardev Sira and Rajesh Maini. The cars then moved to the 40-kilometer Sleeping Warrior stage in the vast Delamere estate at the foot of the Great Rift Valley. This is one of the roughest, toughest and challenging stages of the season and the rally itself. This stage was last used during the 2009 KCB Safari Rally, and one had to be cautious in many parts of the stages to avoid punctures due to the rocky nature of the roads. It was a stage best suited for the Nissan pickup of Ian Duncan. It was his territory, and he knew that. But come the end of the stage, he and co-driver Amar Slach were left breathless and in shock. Rajbir Rai went into the stage with a blistering pace, and by the end of the stage he had achieved the same time as Duncan, 29 minutes 55 seconds, to take over a 23-second overall lead. However, this was just the beginning of dramatic events that were able to unfold in this uncertain stage. Alastair Kavanagh was already out of the rally with an engine blow, the second time that this has happened this season. The Mombasa-based driver has not finished a rally in the Proton since it made its debut in the KCB Kiambu Rally. Baldev Chaga was driving under immense pressure, needing a top 3 position to claim his 3rd national title. Halfway through the stage, his Mitsubishi developed a strange misfire.
We've had 2 punches on that Sleeping Warrior stage. As much as we wanted to keep it tidy, we ended up actually damaging it, and the rear knuckle bent, and then it's been misfiring since through and through. We've been struggling to get past 3,500 RPM, so max speed 120, 130, and so I think we're somewhere in the top 15 at the moment.
Carl was out of the rally with throttle sensor problems, which caused the car to use more fuel, and finally ran out of it a few kilometers before the end of the stage, and sadly, Tundo's title hopes evaporated, just like the fuel in his tank. A surprising 3rd fastest was the Mitsubishi Lancer of Raji Barij, but he was being pushed hard by Manveer, who had recovered from a puncture. Imran Mogul's Subaru Impreza N10 set a good time with 5th fastest time, climbing to 5th in the overall standings. Tejveer Rai, Farhaz Khan, Steve Mwangi and Alasdair Keith all appeared in the top 10 after setting good times. The Group S class was still being led by Karan, and as far as he kept 10th placed and 2nd in class, he was assured of the title. Murage Waigwa in 24th position was 3rd in the class, making it a 1-2-3 for the Subaru GC8 model. Leonardo Varese needed just a finish and 1 point to claim two-wheel cars championship, was lying in 5th place and very much in the driving seat in his Toyota Corolla. His rival Dennis Mwenda was doing all in his capacity to challenge overall leader Eric Bengi for the lead and a chance to defend his title, but it was getting difficult. Bengi was 14th in the overall standing, while Mwenda was 2nd in class and 24th overall, followed by the 2012 champion Nadim Khanna. Rob Hellier in 23rd place had dropped to 2nd in the classic car class, which was being led by the Ford Escort of Rajesh Semi, 19th. Another Ford Escort of Rajesh Maini was in 3rd place. Duncan led the SPV class by miles from the 20th placed Range Rover Bowler of Adin Haq. The championship was already decided on the 6th round when handicap driver Nikhil Sachania was declared the champion. Sachania was lying 3rd in class in his Mitsubishi Challenger which features special gears and clutch system on the steering wheel. A total of 43 remaining cars headed to the first of the 3-visit service park at the Buffalo Mall to get their cars fully serviced and prepared for the next 3 sprint stages, totaling 30 kilometers. The 2 stages to be tackled after the 20-minute service were short and fast. The 12-kilometer Panda Flowers stage and the short 8-kilometer Aberdare stage were best suited for the Mitsubishi Evo 10 compared to the monster Nissan pickup. It was the old guard against the latest rising star of Kenya's rallying. Rajbir went into the Panda Flower stage in splendid fashion, with the experienced co-driver Tim Challen calling the notes. Rajbir emerged out of the stage with a time of 10 minutes 6 seconds, 9 seconds faster than the 5th fastest Duncan. The lead went up to 36 seconds. Ian could do nothing but just wait for the repeat of the killer Sleeping Warrior stage to try and get into the lead. Jasprit Jate, one of the 5 drivers to have won a rally this season, suddenly appeared with the 3rd fastest time, but he was already struggling in the top half of the top 20. His Zambian navigator David Shioka was feeling unwell, and by the next stage he had to be airlifted to the Aga Khan Hospital in Nairobi for treatment. Barrage was also struggling with his health in the physical and demanding event, and his 3rd place was coming under threat from the Subaru of Manvir, who was just 10 seconds behind. Suffering from heat stroke, he was holding on to get a good result. Mogul was in 5th place while Karan Patel was being hunted down by Tajveer Rai's Mitsubishi Lancer. Onkar was also trying to recover time on the opening stages when he had a puncture and made a couple of wrong slots as his navigator Gareth Dowie got lost on the notes. He was in 17th place. At the Aberdare Hills stage, Rajir again increased his overall lead after winning the short 8-kilometer stage in a time of 6 minutes 19 seconds. An incredible Barrage joined him with an equally fast time to stay in 3rd place. Duncan could only manage 7th fastest, 13 seconds slower than the Flying Sikh. Fahaz Khan posted the 8th fastest time in his Subaru Impreza N10, which brought him to an excellent 8th position. Ahead of Steve Mwangi's similar car, and for the first time, Steve Gasheru appeared in the top 10. Class S was still led by the impressive Karan from Keith, who had dropped to 11th in the overall standings, with Murage still in 3rd place. The battle for the 2-wheel drive championship was still on, and the defending champion Dennis Mwenda could do nothing but wait for a miracle to happen. To win the title, he had to be the outright winner of the class and hope Varese retires. But at the moment, the Toyota Run X of Bengi continued to lead the class in 17th place. The second loop of the Manera stage was deteriorating, and that showed with the fastest time of 7 minutes 20 seconds achieved by Onkar Rai, slower by 12 seconds from Tundo's first loop time. Rajbir again increased his lead by another 4 seconds, with his 4th fastest time building an overall lead of now 40 seconds.
It's gone pretty well for us. We're leading by, I think, 40 seconds or something. So yeah, we just plan to hopefully get through the next stage without any punches or anything, and yeah, hopefully that should be enough.
The fight for the last podium place was also getting into a fierce fight. Barrage was hanging on to 3rd, but Manvir was determined to get that 3rd place. Any slip-up from the 2 would allow Mogul into the podium. Tejveer had picked 6th place, and Fahaz had also overtaken Karan for 7th place, while Azhar was already in the top 10. Baldev Chaga decided to retire and save the misfiring engine from further damage and head direct to the Buffalo Mall Service Park for early celebrations. 38 remaining cars headed to the service park to prepare for the second and final loop of the Sleeping Warrior stage.
Good so far. I don't know what we're coming, maybe 2nd or 3rd, or I don't know really. But yeah, it's working well. But it's still quite a long section still left to do, so we can't party yet.
While the fight for the lead was getting more tense between Rajbir and Duncan, the organisers were locked up in a tensed meeting at the rally headquarters, which would turn the rally into an anti-climax. It was decided that the 3rd loop of the Manera stage will be cancelled. It was inevitable as the stage was deteriorated drastically and becoming impassable. Rajbir and Duncan nor the other drivers were aware of the cancellation. The second half of the rally started with the second loop of the 40-kilometer Sleeping Warrior stage. Now was the time for either Rajbir to hold on to his lead or go even faster than his first-time loop and wait and see if Duncan would be able to trim his 40-second lead. With this battle being the highlight, other drivers were to suffer in the rough and challenging stage. First to hit trouble was 5th-placed Imran Moghul. His Subaru first suffered a power steering pump failure, leaving Moghul with sore shoulders. Worse happened halfway into the stage. The Subaru collected 3 punctures. With only 2 spares in the car, he and his navigator Adnan Din changed the 2 and drove the last 10 kilometers on a puncture, losing over 14 minutes, dropping from 5th position to 10th place. Another driver to have problems was Raji Barij. He too hit a rock and punctured. Still feeling weak health-wise, he struggled to secure the 4th place, having lost the podium to Manvir, who had a trouble-free run through the stage. All this allowed Onkar, Azhar, Jasmeet Chana and Gasheru into positions 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th place respectively in the overall standings. First into the view at the end control of the Sleeping Warrior stage was Duncan, strong and deceptively fast, scattering stones in every direction. The Nissan pickup roared through the stage at a terrific speed, and when the clock stopped, at the end of the stage, it read 28 minutes, 46 seconds, an amazing 69 seconds faster than his first loop time. And more shocking was that he beat Rajbir by a massive 81 seconds. Duncan had converted his 40-second deficit into a 41-second lead. For the first time since the rally started, Duncan was in pole position, and with the knowledge that the last 3 stages will suit the youngster, he just had to stay close. Onkar Rai also produced the 3rd fastest time that brought him to 6th place from 9th. Karan also picked 3 more positions as his 5th fastest time moved him to 5th position ahead of Anwar, Chana and Gasheru. Tejveer dropped to 16th position after a puncture that took too long to change in the stage. Ronak Shah set the 7th fastest time in his Subaru Impreza N12B, and it was the last time he would appear in the top 10. The Kisumu-based driver, and one of the many young breed of drivers setting good times this season, had lost too much time with a puncture on the first loop of the Sleeping Warrior stage that made them drop to 20th place. Still second in the SPV class was the Range Rover Bowler of Adil Haq in 27th position, ahead of another Nissan Patrol pickup of Rashminda Babra in 28th place. Eric Bengi had moved up to 11th overall and led the 2-wheel drive class comfortably from Wenda and Nadim Khanna in 19th and 21st position respectively. Position in the classic car class remained unchanged, with Semi still leading Helia and Maini. Rajbir Rai threw caution to the wind on the final 2 stages. With remarkable speed, he went through the Panda Flower stage so fast that he did not only trim 9 seconds from his first loop time, but also beat Duncan by a massive 19 seconds. Now that must have rattled Duncan, as his lead now stood at 21 seconds, with just 1 stage remaining. It was nerve-wracking. By now, Ian and Rajbir knew that the last stage in Manira had been cancelled. It was now all about the 8-kilometer sprint through the Aberdare Hills stage. At the end of the last stage, Duncan's and Rajbir's management team were stationed at the time control, waiting for their driver. It was so tense. Rajbir attacked the stage at a do-or-die speed. And when he stopped the time at the time control, this was super quick. And what a time! 6 minutes, 4 seconds. Then came the roar of the Nissan, the monster car struggling out of the stage, which is better suited to the Mitsubishi Evo 10 compared to his monster, and the time said it all, 6 minutes, 24 seconds. Rajbir had beaten the shell-shocked Duncan by another 20 seconds. 2 seconds is what Rajbir and Chalan needed to be the 15th winner of the Guru Nanak Rally. Instead, Ian Duncan's 2-second lead claimed a record career 72 KNRC Rally victory by winning the 2014 KCB Guru Nanak Rally at the wheel of his locally assembled Nissan Patrol pickup. It was the closest finishing margin in the history of the Guru Nanak Rally since Alastair Kavanagh won the 1999 edition by 14 seconds from Duncan. His win also made him the most successful driver in the history of the Simba Union Club. It was a record 12th victory for the legend since he won his first in 1986. It was navigator Amar Slach's second win on the Guru Nanak Rally, having guided Ian to victory in the 2006 edition in the Toyota Hilux. Duncan has now won the last 6 editions of the Guru Nanak Rally, driving locally assembled pickups. Duncan denied Rajbir his first win in the Guru Nanak Rally, a rally his father, Sarbit Sabi Rai, twice won in 1992 and 1993. On just his 19th career rally, Rajbir Rai gave Ian Duncan a run for his money. Second position was a good end to a terrific season, as the 24-year-old finished the season in 3rd place in the KNRC series. Manveer finished 3rd to claim his 2nd podium of the season with his British-based navigator Drew Sturrock. Raji Barrage and Janshil Gatore held on to take the 4th place and win the trophy for the highest placed Sikh crew. Karan Patel also created history with his 5th place finish. Onkar Rai was pleased with his 6th place finish and his first finish since the KCB Mtani Eldama Ravine rally in May. The oldest driver in the rally, Azhar Anwar, and for the 2nd consecutive time, he finished 7th with Julius Ngigi. Steve Gasheru came in 8th position and recorded his 2nd top 10 result of the season in the Subaru Impreza. The Chana brothers, Jasmeet and Ravi, kept their 100% finishing record intact this season by finishing in 9th place. Imran Mogul topped up the top 10 after all the trouble he went through, even after holding 5th position in the first 5 opening stages. Driving a 16-year-old Subaru but known as a wolf in sheepskin, Karan Patel, the youngest rally driver in this year's KNRC, left seasoned drivers in their wake on only his 6th career rally. He ended up claiming the Division 3 title and beat seasoned driver Alastair Keith to claim also the Group S class championship.
We weren't planning to get such a position. It's just, I guess, what fate had in store for us. It was a rally that we decided to just take easily and strategically. We attacked with a different strategy, not to win, but just to finish. That was our strategy today, and we were successful in that, and we got a bit more than we asked for. Thanks to the organizers, thanks to KCB, thanks to my sponsors, thank you to my car and my navigator and my family and friends for their support.
3rd in the class was Muragewa Waigwa in 18th position, Tuta Mionki, one of the 2 lady navigators in the event, to finish. Murage bettered the result of his father Waigwa Murage, who finished 20th on the 1990 and 1991 Guru Nanak Rally, driving a Datsun 1200 pickup with Peter Masharia and George Mwangi respectively.
This year I've done 4 rallies. I've finished, this is my 3rd event to finish, so I just didn't finish one. I look forward to 2015. The 4 that I did in 2014, quite an experience. I'm looking forward to doing more events. Yeah.
I think it's brilliant that we have a sponsor like KCB because there are a lot of people who enjoy the rally. Imagine if we didn't have sponsors, it would be more expensive than it already is. So I pray that they continue sponsoring. Motorsport is fun, and I think we are trying to also use it to promote road safety.
The 2-wheel drive class was won by the Toyota Run X of Eric Bengi and Tony Gishuhi. Their 11th overall position was the highest for a 2-wheel drive car this season, but the main title was won by Leonardo Verace and Kigo Karidi, who finished 5th in the class and 26th overall.
It's an amazing feeling. It's all the work of the season put together. When we started with this new car for us at the beginning of the year, the goal was to win the championship. In case we fail, we said let's win the Safari, but we failed to win the Safari. In the end, we were rewarded with the championships, it's my 3rd time to win it, so I'm over the moon.
With Duncan winning the SPV class, the 2nd spot was taken by the Range Rover Bowler of Adin Haq and his debutant navigator Sabri Kassam in 25th position. Rashminder Babra, driving a Nissan patrol pickup, was third with his 27th place finish on his first ever rally. However, the championship was already decided on the 6th round when handicapped driver Nikhil Sachania was declared the champion.
It's a dream. We just started the season this year, and fortunately we finished the race at a good pace every race, and we just came out top. So it's really big achievement for me. I'd just love to thank all my sponsors. There've been a lot of sponsors. If you see my car, there's like 100 stickers on it. But it's been great. It's been a great year.
The Classic Car Cup on the Guru Nanak Rally was won by the 15th placed Ford Escort Mark I of Rajay Semi and Jansha Sandhu, ahead of Malindi's Rob Hellier and his brother-in-law navigator Michael Huth in a Datsun 160J. After a grueling race, 32 cars made it to the finish, and the final round in the KNRC series did not disappoint. The action, suspense, and surprises made great entertainment for all rally enthusiasts. And all this was made possible through the sponsorship of KCB, who continue to support the KNRC, thus contributing to the growth and development of motorsport in Kenya. KCB is truly making the difference in motorsport. See you next year when the new exciting season begins.